Hello students, this is a bridge lecture 2 for the number theory course on the topic congruences. I want you to go through bridge lecture 1 before studying this bridge lecture 2, because in the bridge lecture 1 we have studied some of the basic properties and of congruences which you should recall before going to this bridge lecture 2. In the first slide, that is in the first bridge lecture 1, we have defined the definition of congruences. Let us recall it. What is congruences? If n is a positive integer and a and b are any two integers, then two numbers a and b are said to be congruent to each other modulo n if the difference between a and b is divisible by n. So with this basic definition and the properties, now we are going to study some more properties of congruences which we will require throughout the year while studying the course number theory. So here we start with the bridge lecture 2, some basic properties of congruences. The first property, n is a positive integer and a, b, c, d be any integers, then the first property I have denoted by P1, because now from here onwards whenever we have to recall any of these properties, I will just I will just say that recall property P1, recall property P2 and so on. So you should be able to recall it. So P1 is the first property. What is it? A is congruent to 0 modulo n if and only if the difference between a and 0 is divisible by n. That means n divides a minus 0. So what is a minus 0? That is nothing but a. So n divides a. So obviously whenever a number a is divisible by n, the least value, non-zero value, non-negative value to which a is congruent modulo n is obviously 0. So a is congruent to 0 modulo n if and only if n divides a. So for example, 24 is divisible by 8 and therefore we say 24 is congruent to 0 modulo 8. Then second property, for every integer a is congruent to a modulo n. Very important property. It means every number is congruent to itself modulo n. Why? Because the difference a minus a is 0 and 0 is divisible by any integer n. Therefore every integer a is congruent to itself modulo n. Example, 17 is congruent to 17 modulo 6. So obviously not only the 17 but any integer is congruent to itself modulo 6, or any integer is congruent to itself modulo every integer n, and therefore 17 is congruent to 17 modulo 6. P3, if a is congruent to b modulo n, then b is also congruent to a modulo n. It is also obvious because if n divides the difference a minus b, then it divides the difference b minus a also. This will be clear from the example. 10 is congruent to 3 modulo 7 because the difference 10 minus 3 is 7, which is divisible by 7. But of course 3 minus 10 is minus 7, which is divisible by 7, and therefore 3 is also congruent to 10 modulo 7. Students, you may remember this property is called as a commutative reflexive symmetry. This property is called as a symmetry property. The first one, that is P2, is called as the reflexive property. P3 is called as the symmetric property. Okay, or this you have studied in F5 BSc again, that you have studied the relation as reflexive relation, symmetric relation, transitive relation. So here we can say congruence is a reflexive relation because every number is congruent to itself. We can say congruence is a symmetric relation because whenever a is congruent to b, b is also congruent to a. Now let us see whether it is transitive. So next property is if a is congruent to b modulo n and B is congruent to C modulo n, then A is congruent to C modulo n. So this property is called as a transitive property, or this relation is called as a transitive relation. That you can see that whenever A is related to B and B is related to C, A is related to C, that means if the difference A minus B is divisible by n and B minus C is divisible by n, then A minus C is also divisible by n. For example, 17 is congruent to 12 modulo 5, 12 is congruent to 2 modulo 5, and therefore you can observe that 17 is congruent to 2 modulo 5 because 17 minus 2 is 10, which is divisible by 5. This is called as a transitive property, and it is a very important property, students. This we will be recalling again and again when we solve the problem. Now the property P5, if A is congruent to B modulo n, then A raised to k is congruent to B raised to k modulo n for any positive integer k. So what is the meaning of this property? If we have the congruence equation A is congruent to B modulo n, then you can multiply it k times and that relation exists. That means when you multiply the congruence relation A is congruent to B modulo n twice, you are going to get the equation as A square is congruent to B square modulo n. So on, when you multiply the same equation k times, you are going to get the congruence equation as A raised to k is congruent to B raised to k modulo n, and this equation also exists. That is the meaning of this property P5. So all these P1, P2, P3, P4, P5 are very basic but very important properties of congruences, because we will be using this throughout the course. So for example of property P5, P5 is congruent to 2 modulo 3, then 5 square is also congruent to 2 square modulo 3. So here we have multiplied the same congruence equation. Now you can multiply it one more time, then you get 5 cube is congruent to 2 cube modulo 3. So these are the basic properties. Now let us see how we can use these properties while solving the problem. See, find the smallest positive value of x when 61 is congruent to x modulo 13. So similar type of problem we have already solved in the first slide. Now this problem, let us see how we can solve using the properties of congruences. Now here to determine the smallest positive value of x, what we have seen in the bridge lecture 1, that you have to divide 61 by 13, and whatever remainder you will get will be the least positive value of x. So that is also the correct method. But now here what let us see how I have solved over here. Now the number nearer to 61, which is divisible by 13, is 65. Therefore I will consider as 61 is congruent to minus 4 modulo 13. So 61 minus become plus 4, that is 65, which is divisible by 13, and therefore 61 is congruent to minus 4 modulo 13. But we want a smallest positive value for x, and that smallest positive value of x must lie between 1 and 13. So here you have to recall the slide number 6 of bridge lecture 1. Okay, so there we have seen why the smallest positive value lies between 1 and 13. So though the minus 4 is a correct value, it is not our required answer. Our required answer should be the least positive value. So now what we will do, we will find out the value which lies between 1 and 13 and which is congruent to minus 4 modulo 13. So minus 4 is congruent to 9 modulo 13. See, it is not difficult to find out this value, and therefore now from equation 1 and equation 2, and then by using the property P4. What is the property P4? It is the transitive property. Okay, so by property P4, since 61 is congruent to minus 4 modulo 13 and minus 4 is congruent to 9 modulo 13, we get 61 is congruent to 9 modulo 13. Therefore, here the answer for answer is 9, or the smallest positive value of x is 9. Let us see one more example. 258 is congruent to x modulo 13. Now here you will understand the meaning, what why I am saying that you make use of these properties to find out the smallest positive value, because here also you can divide 258 by 13 and find out the remainder to find out the value of x. But we know that 260 is the nearer value of 258, which is divisible by 13. And to get that 260, what we have to consider as 258 is congruent to minus 2 modulo 13. So we get 258 minus become plus 2, and which is 260, and therefore 258 is congruent to minus 2 modulo 13. But minus 2 is not the value of x, because we want the positive value of x, and that lies between 1 and 13. So now find out the value between 1 and 13, which is congruent to minus 2 modulo 13. So obviously minus 2 is congruent to 11 modulo 13. So again from 1 and 2, and by property P4, that is the property transitive property, we can say 258 is congruent to 11 modulo 13, and therefore here the value of x is equal to 11. Now similarly we will get the answer for the next two problems, that is problem number 4 and 5. Now for 76 is congruent to x modulo 11. Obviously we can see that 76 is congruent to minus 1 modulo 11, and minus 1 is congruent to 10 modulo 11, because we want the positive value of for x, which lies between 1 and 11, and therefore here answer is equal to 10, because 76 is congruent to 10 modulo 11. Then 64 congruent to x modulo 33. So immediately after from the equation itself, it should strike to you that the nearer value to 64 is 66, which is divisible by 33. So to get that 66, we can consider as 64 is congruent to minus 2 modulo 33, but we want the positive value, and therefore we consider minus 2 is congruent to 31 modulo 33, positive value, and which is the least positive value. So it lies between 1 and 33, and therefore here we consider minus 2 is congruent to 31 modulo 33, and again by using the property of transitivity, we get 64 is congruent to 31 modulo 33, and therefore here answer is x is equal to 31. Now consider some more examples. Find the smallest positive integer x satisfying following congruence equations. The congruence equation is 16x congruent to 1 modulo 3. Students, here it is a little bit different type of equation. In the earlier slide or in the earlier examples, we have considered the equation of the type a congruent to x modulo 3. Now here we are considering the equation as ax congruent to b modulo 3 or modulo n. So to get the value of x over here, obviously the value of x lies between 1 and 3. So the first method is you can go on putting the value of x between 1 and 3, because 3 is not a very big number. So if I put x is equal to 1, then we get 16 congruent to 1 modulo 3, which is 2. 16 minus 1 is 15, and therefore here we can see that the answer is x is equal to 1. So here to get the value of x, the one method is go on putting the value between 1 and 3. Start with x is equal to 1, x is equal to 2, and so on. So here similarly over here the value of x will lie between 1 and 7. So put x is equal to 1. So you get 15 congruent to 2 modulo 7. So 15 minus 2 is 13. Is it true? No, 13 is not divisible by 7. So x equal to 1 cannot be an answer. Then put x is equal to 2. So when you put x is equal to 2, what you get is 15 to the 30. 30 minus 2 is 28, which is divisible by 7, and therefore here answer is x is equal to 2. Now the third equation is 3x congruent to 1 modulo 26. See, in the earlier two example the values were 3 and 7, so they were smaller values, comparatively smaller values, and so in those examples you can just go on putting x is equal to 1, x is equal to 2, and so on. But now as number increases, it won't be possible, correct? So we need some another method. So what is the method? Now for that you should know the table of 26 as well as the table of 3. So here try to get the value of x such that 3x minus 1 is divisible by 26. So the value 3x minus 1 should be a value which lies in the table of 26. So when 3x minus 1 lies in the table of 26, your 3x must be 26 plus 1, that is 27. So you get the value 27 by putting x is equal to 9, correct? 9 is the 27. So here we can say x is equal to 9 is the answer. So in this fashion, while solving these types of problem, you have to consider both the parts, means the part which is a multiple of 3 and the part which is a multiple of 26. Let us solve some more examples so it will be clear to you. Now 240x congruent to 1 modulo for 241. Now 241 is also bigger number. Now the number which is nearer to 240 and divisible by 241 is obviously 241. So to get that 241, what we will consider, we will put the value of x as minus 1. So 240 into minus 1 is minus 240. So minus 240 congruent to 1 modulo 241, because minus 240 minus 1 becomes minus 241, which is divisible by 241. But now we want the positive value of x, which obviously lies between 1 and 2. Here I made a mistake, which lies between 1 and 241, and therefore it should be what you can observe that minus 1 is congruent to 240 modulo 241, correct? And therefore here the answer is x is equal to 240. So student, you can understand from this problem that it is not just enough to go on putting the value of x is equal to 1, x is equal to 2, and so on, because see now here to reach up to 240 it would have taken how much time, correct? So you have to just make use of properties as well as some logical thinking. Now consider 24x congruent to 2 modulo 13. So obviously when you see the number 24 and when you see the number 13, obviously the nearer value to 24 divisible by 13 is obviously 26. And how you would get that 26? By putting x is equal to minus 1, correct? But again we want the positive value which lies between 1 and 13, and therefore consider minus 1 is congruent to 12 modulo 13, and hence you get the answer as x is equal to 12. Now in the remaining slides I will explain you the 2 more problems. So just go through this two more problems, and I will be giving you the assignment. So you have to solve that assignment by watching this video again and again. I am very much sure that you will be able to solve those that assignment, and if you can't, I am always there to help you out. You can ask me at any time. Of course we will be having a live lecture, that time also you can ask your difficulties. So go through it and enjoy this video, and please remember all these basic properties, because this is what we will be using throughout the course. So from the next lecture we will be starting with the main course. Thank you very much. हां हो देते झालं माझं. मानसीला उठवायचं ते झोपली.